Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our contact session for the examination. For learning support in mathematics, and that is our subject code PES MAT42. I am your teacher, Miss Ampolo, and that is my contact number on the screen, 081 446 446. You can also call me at 081 2009 524. In case you need help, please, I'm always available to help you. This is our 2018 assignment-based contact session. We only cover very few contents of the subject and share with you some important information that you should keep in mind when you are preparing for your examination. When you are writing your examination, my dear students, you must pay attention to the verbs. The verbs are on the 4th page of your study guide. So then there is a very nice list of verbs and well explained, and they show you what to do for each. If the question asks you to explain, you should know what to do. To mention, you should know what to do. To list, to outline, to describe, and so many others, you should know what to do. And please just go straight to the point. Okay? Sometimes the space is very much limited. So then just go straight to the point so that you can get those marks instead of beating around the bush. And then when you come to the point, the space is finished and you will not be able to get the points that we want. About the examination, the paper is divided into 4 questions. We have only question 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4. And the total marks for those questions is 100. But those questions are divided into sub-questions. 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4, for instance. All right, and you need a minimum of 50% to pass your examination. 50%, just half of the paper. And I trust you can do it. And you should study the whole book because all the chapters are just covered in the examination. And here we are not giving you a scope. We'll just look at some of the critical questions. And go through your assignment as you are preparing for your examination. It will help you identify the mistakes you made and learn from the comments as well. If the comment said you did not explain enough, please next time you say you should make sure that your explanation will carry the marks allocated there. Let's start. Learner support. At the subject say it. This is the support that is used by the teacher in a classroom to address the issues of diversity. We have so many different types of learners in our class, and so how can we support them? This subject is kind of a guiding line. It's a way to go. What must you do in case you have this type of a problem? And approaches that she or he can use to help every child to reach mathematics literacy. We all want our learners to learn and succeed and to be champions and genius in mathematics. And so how can we help them? If we can just look at this book, this module, it will help us. Now in the examination, sometimes they'll ask you to discuss, to go much more in detail of what learner support is. And so we have 3 main important types of support: physical support and emotional support. So then when you are discussing, you can base your discussion on those 2: physical support or cognitive support, as well as emotional support. Okay, so just to carry all those marks, touch those 2 points. And then what concepts can be developed outside the class on the playground? We have lots of them, but among those lots, we have counting out equal shares. So then if learners are outside, what concepts they can develop outside there. When they are counting equal shares, maybe they are dividing sweets, they will develop their concept of counting and so on. Exchanging money, comparing, maybe they divided something, a cake, a fat cake or a bread. They will see, is it an equal share? Did I give you a bigger portion than mine or what? Those are the things. The concept is being developed, the comparing concept. They distinguish, classify, and sort. You see, you can sometimes see learners collecting stones together with other objects, and then they will sort them out as well. We'll do patterning. You can see sometimes they when it's, especially when it's a rainy season, you see them building some objects, some shades, okay, with their own hands, using the hands. This is a triangle, they make a square here, they make a circle here, so then that is it. They will develop that concept. Working with fractions and parts and wholes, as well as sequencing. So those are some of the concepts, but then we have a lot of them in our study guide. Go through and know them. In the examination, you might be asked to list a lot more than what you are having here. And another critical part is the things teachers can do to help learners prepare for the examination. This is what must you do as a teacher to help your learners prepare for the examination. You want them to do well in the examination. So what must you do? How can you help them to achieve that? Number one, you can do lots of revision. Revise with them. Go through different topics in the syllabus. Pay attention to the most difficult one and the most important one, and give exercises from those topics. We know which topics learners find difficult. Word problems, algebra. Now, like we have even algebra in upper primary, the issue of fractions, those are decimals. So then go through, revise, and give a lot of exercises. You can also advise them. What must they do a day before the examination? If you are writing the next day, what must you do? How can you help them? Tell them to rest well and get enough sleep, and never to panic. They should take it easy and they should rest. You will find learners sleeping in the middle of the examination. They were thinking, all of a sudden they fell asleep because they did not get enough sleep. So advise them to rest very well the day before, and the next day when they come, their mind is fresh, they are active, they are strong enough to face the examination. And then during the examination, what is that you can advise the learners to do? The pupils or the learners should write down all formulas that they might forget. If they memorize the formulas, advise them, the moment you sit down, take your pencil and just write those formulas on your question paper. Okay, so that you can maybe they are part of the question, the examination. They might use them so that they cannot forget those formulas. When they start reading, tell them to underline important points in the question. I always advise my learners to don't wait, especially when it comes to the word problems. Don't wait for you to finish the whole sentence. Then the moment you start reading it, put something on paper so that it can guide you, and it can even shorten your thinking time and your writing time as well. And underline the important points. Do all the workings in the space provided. Okay, that is very, very much important. You sometimes find learners squeezing everything on the small space. So then make sure that they should use the space provided. There's always space provided there, and the space for the answer. When they finish early writing, tell them to read carefully through again. They must go through their answers. In case they made a mistake, examination is just an examination. in case they made a mistake, they can be able to identify and pick up those mistakes. And the number of marks can differ from question to question. And so if the question is difficult for them, they must just move on to the next question. They should not struggle and use 10 minutes on one question with only 2 marks. Why they are questioned with 4 or 5 marks at the end? By the time they reach there, the time is up. So then advise learners as well to make use of the time very well. The next part is assessment. This is also a very important part, and you should know how to work with assessment, what to do, and the 2 types of assessment that we normally deal with. We have formative assessment and summative assessment. And sometimes they will ask you just to mention one, to describe one, okay, and to give advantage of one. Now here we're talking about a formative assessment, because summative assessment is something that that is quite simple, because all you need is to end up the marks and get the final marks. But how about the formative one? Formative assessment is a planned process of regularly checking pupils' understanding during your instructional activities. That is the informal way of assessing. If you are teaching and you ask a question, that is formative assessment, because you want to see how they are responding. Are they listening? Did they pick up the point? And so on. And the main role of formative assessment is to discover success and failures in the learning and provide feedback that can be used to improve the course. If you are teaching and you come to the question time, then none of the learners in the class can answer you correct. That means there's something wrong. And so what do? You have to go back. You have to assess your teaching and improve on that. Formative assessment indicates whether the pupils have learned enough to begin the next stage. If you find out that 99% of the learners are doing well, you can move on. Otherwise, if only few of them, then you have to go back again. It indicates what remedial work is needed and for who. Okay, that is what formative assessment is. If this particular learner, every question you ask, no idea. Every question you ask, no idea. What does it mean? You have to give that child remedial work. You have picked up that this child is not doing so well, and so I have to change. I have to pay attention to that child. Formative assessment can increase the speed of students' learning by providing feedback that promotes learning. Now, if you keep on giving feedback to the learners, they will improve. And it will increase their speed, the learning speed. If this child is always the last one to write and they always don't finish, which makes them fail, then that is what you are helping them to promote, to improve on their speed. The results should be used as evidence collected to improve instruction for the whole class or individual learners. Sometimes they say, even if that task is not for assessment purposes, record it. You can have 2 recordings. One is for your for your summative assessment, and one is just to check up on your learners. Even if it's a class work, a simple task, a simple work that you gave them to do, homework, you can record it so that it can help you improve your instruction and help you to help that learner as well. All right, let's move on. Then when we are teaching, we have 2 or many types of questions we can ask our learners. One is a recalling question, just a simple question that will test learners whether they understood or what is that they can remember on the instant. Okay, We have the convergent thinking question. This one uses information to solve a problem with a single correct answer and require application of higher level than memory questions. There you have to think twice before they answer the question. All right. We have divergent thinking questions, and these are the open synthetic questions that promote discussion. Sometimes learners' answers they might trigger something, or in you as a teacher or in other learners, that they want to know more, explain more about that one. And so this one is also important. Comprehension questions. These questions demonstrate understanding of the material, transforming, reorganizing, or interpreting of information. And we have critical thinking questions. These require learners to identify reasons and motive, making inferences based on data, analyzing conclusion to see if it's supported. Okay, so then you should know this type of questions, and you should use them as well. Help learners to think more deeper. Help learners to promote discussion in the class by just using different types of questions. And these questions you go through in your study guide. They have some examples of what to do of those questionings. What questioning techniques are recurring? What questioning techniques are critical thinking questions, and so on. Then when we ask questions, of course we expect answers. And we have those two types of answers that we always get from the learners. Some are rote answers and some are rational answers. Rote answers are responses given by the learner to questions without thinking, no meaning, without reasons. And these answers are quick. They might be correct, but they cannot be justified. You know, there is always that learner in the class who is always fast to give the answer. Now, in most cases, those are rote answers. Because if you ask, can you explain your answer? Why are you saying? How did you get that answer? The child is not even able to answer it. So those are rote answers. And rational answers are responses that bear qualities of rational understanding. Given after some thought, they are justified and they are given with reasoning and meaning. These answers are built on children's understanding of one-to-one correspondence. They reveal recall and recognition of information learned. They reveal the use of critical thinking in analyzing conclusion to see if they are supported by evidence. They are divergent, synthesizing original thinking, plan and design or story. So rational answers are very powerful. And as teachers, we should encourage our learners to give rational answers. Okay? Just help them. Every time, ask learners to justify. How did you get that answer and why? Okay, so that it can promote rational answers. Because the learners will now know that whenever my teacher asks me, I should provide a reason for my answer. Just to help them move away from rote answers. All right. Then finally, when you are reading, read the questions very carefully. You can underline the keywords to direct your thinking, and your answers must be complete. Look at the marks allocated, and please answer the question and write neatly as much as you can. These are very important things. You are going to write a very important examination, so then just make sure that you are well prepared for you to finish your course and for you to pass your module as well. I wish you all the best, and thank you very much.